Hello, everyone, and welcome to day one of the Miracles Challenge. Miracles and manifesting. How to create miracles today so that you can create anything instantly. I am so excited to share with you these proven step-by-step techniques to manifesting and creating miracles, things that I have shared with people around the world and that I am going to share with you today. My name is Melissa Binkley, and I'm the founder of the Intuitive Intelligence Academy. We're the world's leading school for spiritual alchemy. We teach quantum healing and manifesting and trauma healing, and we have coaching programs and certifications for intuitive intelligence. And what I've learned through teaching about miracles and manifesting and quantum healing is that there is a layering effect that happens when you heal that allows you to create miracles. So today on day one, we're going to be discussing your brain. We're going to be talking about training your brain and how that makes a difference in how you create miracles and how you manifest. And I'm going to dive deep a little bit into the brain waves and the difference between the level of manifesting and miracles and the level of deep healing that comes with quantum healing so that you understand how all of this works. So I created a docuseries called Quantum Miracles Mastery, and I have interviewed doctors and scientists and #1 New York Times bestselling authors from around the world about creating miracles in their lives and about healing. And one of the things that I have noticed that has become really apparent for me is that there is a difference between those that have the ability to manifest instantly or create miracles instantly and those who do not. And those that have these common characteristics, there's the brain research that shows that these people have what's called highly coherent brains and focused minds. So when you hook them up to an EEG or neurofeedback machine, you see what's called coherent brain waves. So if you look at the picture, you'll notice what do I mean by coherence? If you look, these brain waves are the colors. So you'll see on the one picture, you'll see coherence, and the brain waves are going like this, right? They're going back from forward in the brain to back, and they're all together. Now that means that when a brain wave, that they're all working in harmony, they're working together. And an incoherent brainwave, see this difference of this one that says incoherence and how they're all over the place. And so today we're going to be talking about how do we get coherence in our brain. So the difference between somebody that can create these miracles instantly, that can create miracles, and those that cannot, is that those that can't, their minds are unfocused, foggy, and their brain waves are incoherent. So we want to teach you how to automatically shift your brain into a coherent state in just a few minutes. Then you'll be in this relaxed state, right? This relaxed state of coherence. And that's what we want to create for you. We want you to have this relaxed state so that you can create these brain waves. So these brain states, they predispose you to being more creative, to hearing your intuition, to solving problems effortlessly, and to experiencing uplifting emotions. And this evokes synchronicities and magic and miracles in your life, so that it's the key to what we've all heard of in The Secret, right? Turning thoughts into things. And there, we know now from studies and from science that turning thoughts into things is more than just about the brain, which we'll get into in days 2 and 3. But today we're going to first talk about this coherence in the brain and how do we create that. So think about something like a laser. A laser uses coherent light. What does that mean? A laser is set up so that all the light rays are parallel to each other rather than going off in random directions. And so this characteristics of coherence makes lasers extraordinarily powerful. right? You can cut a diamond with a laser. But if you think about like a 60-watt regular light bulb that you have in your living room, it converts only about 10% of its energy into light, and that light is not coherent. So if your brain is not coherent, you're basically using about 10% of it, and it's going to go bing, 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 and it's not going to be focused. Laser focus is what we're looking through. Then you can cut through all of the crap that is in your way. So this coherence is very similar to that. And when we can turn our attention to solutions, focus on them, solve them, and we can manifest what we desire. So you're like, great, I want to do that. Why isn't my brain coherent? Well, it starts out with understanding that the first 7 years of your life, you are programmed. So you're programmed in these disempowering ways and this program then becomes the incoherence that later follows you later in life. What creates incoherence? Stress, anxiety, trauma, judgments, bad moods, right? All of these types of things will create this incoherence in your brain. And then 70% of what you downloaded as a child, it's disempowering. But then the rest of your life, 95% of the rest of your life comes from that program. Think of it like this. If you're thinking about like an iceberg in the ocean, right? And you have this iceberg, only a tip of it is usually above the water. The rest of it's down below. That's what's happening with you. Your consciousness, that 5% that's on top that you're trying to use to focus, is what you think is what you're using to manifest. But what's actually happening is that 95%, that subconsciousness that's underneath, that's incoherent, that's got programmed with beliefs, is actually what's running the show. So no matter how hard you think about what you want, you're actually creating what you don't want because the underlying belief systems and experiences that are doing that. So today, I'm going to show you how to start changing that programming. How many of you want to learn how to change that programming? So we got, yes. Okay. Oh, we got some more people coming in over here. Let's see. Let me add these in. Admit. Beautiful. So we're going to learn how to start changing that programming so that you can create the coherence in your brain. And then we're going to go step by step through the other parts of the body and understanding how all of this works together. Oh my goodness, we have so many amazing people in here today. Just if you want, hello everyone, I want you to just share, where are you joining me from? Put it into the chat. Let me know where you're joining from. We have over 600 people registered for this amazing experience, for this 3-day challenge, so that we can share this work together and really have an amazing time. And I wanted to really start out and explain to you so that you understand that the brain is one of the reasons. So we're going to train our brain today. We're going to train our brain to understand how to do that. So I'm going to show you some more pictures so that we start to understand what does that mean. Okay, so here, you're going to love this. Okay, so you ever heard that old saying back in the 1980s when they said, this is your brain? Well, this is your brain, right? And you're like, oh, beautiful little brain, there it is. Well, and then, keep admitting more people in. And then we go to the next picture, and then we say, and we'll make this smaller so that we can say it. And this is your brain on your programming. So this is your brain on those unconscious beliefs that have you scrambled. This is your incoherent brain. So what we want to do is get you into that coherence. We want to take you from scrambled eggs, from that brain that's all scrambled, like I showed you, those incoherent waves that aren't matching together, and get you into...
Well, he's doing a class. Leave him alone.
It gets you into a matching brain wave. Let's see if I can get... Oh.
Yeah, it's for his entrepreneurship.
Oh, mute. Muting you all. Okay, beautiful. So let's see where we got some people coming in from. Oh, we got California and Ontario, Canada. Dun, 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 dun. Yes. Okay, beautiful. Okay, awesome, everyone. Okay, so we got all sorts of people coming in from all over, from Texas and New York. Love it. North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Virginia, Manila. Ooh, Manila, I love it. Colorado and Wisconsin. Well, hello, everyone. I'm so glad that you're here. And I want to share with you how we're going to start training your brain today. So let me show you now so you can get an understanding a little bit more about the brain waves and what this means for you and what we can do to start shifting your brain immediately. So here are your brain waves. Now, I'm not going to get deep into this. We actually go deeper into in our Quantum Miracles, the experiment, which is a deep dive 6-week program in experimenting with the field where you learn all of these pieces deep. We go deeper into the brain waves. But what I want you to understand is right now, your brain is in a beta brainwave, which means that you're thinking, you're conscious, you're learning, you're listening to me. When we get into these two lower states, alpha and theta, that's the state that we need to be in to create miracles, to manifest. Well, how do we get into those states? Well, one of those ways is meditation. How many of you meditate? Got meditators out there? But everybody's like, I can't sit to meditate. Well, there's simple, easy ways. Meditation is not always what we think it is, right? It's not always what we think it is. But, and then delta down here is the state for quantum healing. So there's these layers of healing and manifestation that allow us to dive deeper into our state. So what I want to know is if you are in a beta brainwave, which most of you are right now, this is not the state that you are going to be able to create miracles and manifest. You may be able to know consciously what you want, but if you're trying to create from this space, it's not going to happen from this place. What we want to do is we have to quiet and create a coherence, right? Bring those brain waves together, slow them down, and allow our world to come together so that you can manifest. So to bring something into the physical world requires focusing not on what you see, but on what you want to see. But to do that, you must shift your memories and your mind, right? This is all that brain stuff. Our memory is creative. So 50% of what you talk about in the past isn't even true. 50%. Can you believe that? And 95% of the time we are unconscious. So we must turn on our frontal lobe and our pineal gland. And I teach deeply about the pineal gland in our 6-week program. We don't have time to go into that today, but I want to get you into a space of understanding how we can get into a coherent brainwave. I'm going to actually put you into an alpha state today so you know what it feels like, so that you understand that. And then I'm going to give you your experiment. So what we're going to do is every day you're going to have a 24-hour experiment that you're going to do for the next 24 hours from today, right this time, till tomorrow at our same call. And you're going to work on experimenting with the field. Today we're going to be experimenting with your brain waves and experimenting with the way that you see the world so that you can actually understand how your brain and your mind are creating the reality that you see in front of you. So we want to understand how to do that. So what we've got to do to shift your brain waves to create a coherent state is we have to look at that programming that got us to where we are today. We have to break that habit of the you that you have been. So I want you to think about your life right now. Think about something that's showing up in your life that you do not want. Now, what has created your current life? What has created that thing that you don't want? Ask yourself. Identify the thoughts or the actions or the feelings that have created that thing in your life that you don't want. What kind of person have you been? What is your state of mind? Are you waking up every day anxious? Are you worried about what's in your bank account? Do you believe that you're never going to create what you want? All of those things are, guess what? They're creating an incoherent brainwave. And so manifesting is about this level of consciousness and allowing yourself to be in a space like this. So we want to really understand how we do that. We do not respond to reality. We respond to our interpretation of reality. And our interpretation, where does it come from? It comes from our programming. It comes from our beliefs. It comes from our mind. It comes from our memory. And those things create the incoherence that keeps us from creating the things that we want. So when you have an idea in your mind, you tend to look for evidence that supports that idea and not pay attention to the evidence that says that that idea isn't accurate. This is called confirmation bias. So if you believe you're lucky, whenever you say, right, wear a red shirt, you're likely to focus on the times that this is true and discount the times you were lucky when you weren't wearing the shirt, or when you weren't lucky when you were wearing the shirt. Does that make sense? So you tend to look for and pay attention to evidence that supports the programming and the beliefs that you already have. So what we're going to do today is we're going to put you in an alpha state, and then your experiment is going to allow you to pay attention to evidence by picking the evidence that you want to pay attention to so that you can actually see how this works. So if I wake up every day and believe that the world sucks, guess what's going to show up for me? The world's going to suck every day. If I wake up every morning and I say, oh, it's going to be a hard day, I'm going to look for evidence of the hard in the day. Or if I wake up every day and I say, wow, it's going to be an amazing day, guess what? I'm going to look for evidence of the amazingness in the day. So we want to start to shift those things. So nothing exists around us, right, until we observe it. But your perception of your observations change by your attitude, by your brain. And one of the ways that we start to slow down those brain waves, to start to allow the brain to come into this coherence, is to allow us consistent daily action in this move. Every single person that has ever done my 6-week experiment, we're actually doing the world's largest miracles experiment right now, and we've been slated for a movie documentary that's going out on Amazon, and that is going to we also have a Netflix TV series that we're talking about this miracles experiment of how we've followed people around that have been doing this, that when they do this work consistent day by day, guaranteed that your lives will change and your perception of your experience will change, which then changes your actual outcome and creates new realities. So the thing is I'm going to give you this for 3 days. I'm going to share with you techniques. I'm going to have you experiment with the field. But the key is whether you do it with me or you do it by yourself, I need you to consistently do this work daily so that you can change your life. Eventually, you'll get to a point where it will become such a part of who you are that the action steps that I teach you will become part of your system, and it will automatically manifest within your life. And that's when we get into a flow state. But until you're in that flow state consistently, and sometimes you can pop into it and pop back out, then you've got to be able to do this on a regular basis. How many of you are committed to doing this at least for 3 days consistently, but for even longer? I recommend a minimum of 6 weeks. 6 weeks is a sweet spot. Every single person that I know that has spent this 6 weeks with me has completely changed their life. And I'll have people that will be coming on that will that are part of our programs that we will share with you some of the incredible things that have happened, from manifesting houses and cars to money to marriages and love relationships and healing things in their body. Because even when you get into that coherent of a state and you change your brain waves like that and you do the steps that I'm going to teach you in the next 2 days, what happens is that everything changes. You can instantly heal physical illnesses even. And that's what we teach as the next step is that quantum healing work, right? So we think about 60 to 70 thoughts a day, and about 90% of them are the same. So if you're thinking the same thoughts over and over, and it's creating something in your life that you don't want right now, then we've got to get you to train your brain, right? Today's training your brain day, how to do that a different way. Well, one of the things that I teach people and that I share is that your brain works in pictures. And we're going to be teaching you how the field works and how it works and how we interact with the field. There's pictures, there's numbers, there's vibrations, right? There's all these different ways that you can connect with the field so that you can use the field of infinite possibilities to create things. But the brain works in pictures, and you are the artist. And your canvas, you have a canvas, and you can create it from a blank canvas. So imagine if you had a beautiful white canvas, and you could paint a picture of whatever you wanted on that. Well, we're going to start doing that immediately. Creative visualization is one way. It's like an imagination, but it's a way to start changing the way that your brain thinks. So if you were in our group, you saw that yesterday you had some pre-work where I said, I want you to write out something that you want to manifest by the end of the year. And what we're going to do in our 6-week experiment together is that we're going to really dive into that deep. But I wanted to, one of the things that I said, I started to give what we call our creation intention formula. And I said, but you've got to be able to see it in your mind. So if you're writing down, and I gave the steps, and I said it's got to be in a positive, it's got to be with gratitude, but you've got to be able to see it. So if you can't close your eyes, whether you're kinesthetic, maybe you don't quite see it, but if you can't imagine what that picture looks like, what it is when you get the thing that you want, then your brain doesn't know what to do with that. And so we put our brain into a coherent state, and then we see this thing that we want to create, right? We visualize it. And the combination of those two things, the brain doesn't know the difference between reality and imagination. That's how the quantum works, and we'll dive into the quantum field and understanding quantum and how the brain works in the quantum in one of the later days. So the brain doesn't know the difference between those two. So if you have that visualization and you're in this alpha or theta state, this coherent state, then the brain and your body, it will work with the field to bring that thing to you, to create it. So we want to use that as a visualization. So but the blocks that come in from that are your beliefs. And your beliefs are your building blocks of your personality, and they define you as worthy or unworthy, powerful or powerless, competent or incompetent, trusting or suspicious, belonging or an outcast. Like if I have a belief that I am completely loved, right? Then guess what? Everywhere I show up, everybody loves me. I'm loved everywhere. But if like I had in the past, if I had a belief that nobody loves me and nobody wants me, and that I was always going to be rejected, guess what? I saw all of the times that I was rejected and abandoned and not wanted over the times that I was loved and wanted. So these things create the relationships and the health of my life. And this all comes from my programming. And we want to start to get rid of that programming. But this takes daily action. So we are going to get ourselves into an alpha state. And then I'm going to tell you what your experiment is so that you can start to train your brain to notice what that is. So alpha state. This one is a really simple exercise that I like to teach people that allows you to get into an alpha state really easily. There's many different ways you can do it. We can do a breathing exercise. We can listen like the music that I had on at the beginning, right? You can listen to a really nice music that will slow your brain waves, and breathing will do that. Meditation will do that. I teach, if any of you guys got our quantum meditations, that will start to retrain the brain. There's many different ways, but this one's an instantaneous, real quick fix so that you can get into that. So when we engage our peripheral, so your peripheral vision, when you engage your peripheral vision, it automatically drops your brain into an alpha state. So how do we do that? How do we engage our peripheral? Well, I want you to all take a moment and find the crack in the wall between your wall and your ceiling. So you know where the ceiling and the wall meet, there's a crack, right? There's a crack right there. I just want you to look at it, notice where it is. It's going to be above you somewhere, right? So I'm looking up like this and I'm saying, okay, I see it. All right? So that's where our attention is going to be focused. And so for those of you that can see me, you can see what I'm doing. If you can't see me, I'm going to explain step by step. So to engage alpha state, I'm going to stare at that crack in the wall. Then I'm going to put my arms out in a T. So I'm putting my arms out in a T beside my body, and I'm staring up at that crack in the wall. Then I start to wiggle my fingers that are out here. I'm wiggling my fingers until they come into view. So I wiggle my fingers until they come into view. What happens while I'm staring at that crack in the wall, and then my fingers come into view, it starts to engage my peripheral. And then I lower my eyes to level. Now I want you to all try it while I'm not talking so that you can actually not listen to me, which is a beta brainwave, and do it like that. So again, the instructions are you're going to stare at the crack in the wall, put your arms at a T, wiggle your fingers, wiggle those fingers, and then you're going to engage. And then once you can see those fingers in your peripheral, you're going to drop your gaze back down and just breathe normally. You're going to notice it's like a switch that goes like this in your brain. So just I'm going to give you a couple of moments to do that. Just take a moment. Beautiful. Did you notice it? Awesome. If you notice it, just share in the messages. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah. See how you notice just that little bit? That's engaging an alpha state. And then from that space, you're able to, your brain waves immediately start to become more coherent. Now, the more that we practice the getting our brain into coherence, the more that you'll be able to do this time and time again. I suggest that, and I teach breathing exercises and body exercises and a lot of different things that will allow you to start to create this coherence. Tomorrow, I'll be teaching you another technique that is going to really align you. Tomorrow's alchemical alignment, really align you into this space. Just, you have to keep moving your fingers. If you're doing this and you don't see your fingers in their peripheral, you're gonna keep moving them until you see them. And then allow yourself, sometimes you got it, because my arm's in a T, I have to maybe move my arms a little bit forward, but just keep looking forward until they come into your peripheral. So some people have peripheral issues and may not be able, like if you have an eye challenge or something like that, then you might not be able to do that. Then we would have to teach you a breathing technique. There's a technique we'll be teaching tomorrow that will allow you to do that and allow you to really start into this. Okay, so before we get into our experiment, I have a couple of people that were in here that are like, I want to share. So, dun, 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 dun. Lara, I see you. I'm going to add you.
Hello.
Hi, honey. How's it going?
Yeah, I'm good. Good. I'm sorry I wasn't expecting to be on camera, but I'm happy to be on
you're
camera.
beautiful. We love you. It doesn't matter. So you're like, I'm happy to share. So share a little bit about you started with us, the Quantum Miracles work a while ago and into that. And while you're doing that, I'm going to let you talk. I'm going to go find the experiment for everybody so I can share about that.
Oh, cool. It was 2 years ago to like this challenge, 2 years ago, fall 2019, that I actually did the challenge, popped on. I was in a really terrible place in my life. And I, in terms of like all kinds of things were just melting down, you know, and here I am 2 years later, because I am, not only did I take on this challenge, but I followed through. And so then I went to the next course and the next course. So I think I've been through about 4 or 5 courses, maybe 4 courses now. And I have been like consistent with Melissa since 2 years ago today. And my life has changed dramatically. I, you know, almost lost like pretty much everything. And now not only am I financially on my feet, but I'm a million times more confident. I can go on and on and on. There is not a single aspect of my life that has not been changed, touched, or transformed since 2 years ago today, from beginning to work with working with Melissa. And I'm So
Yeah, did you
thankful.
manifest like a Mercedes or something during the
I
first
did. Yeah,
one
I
or
did.
something
I
like
did. I
that?
did. I did. I did. I did. I certainly did. I really desperately needed a new car, and I wasn't in a position where I could just go out and pay cash for one at the time. And I manifested a situation where someone actually bought it for me, and it was really unbelievably incredible. And it was something I desperately needed. And it was a gorgeous Mercedes. It was absolutely phenomenal. Brand new. GL, so 450 GL or whatever they're called. I don't even know what it is. I just know it's gorgeous and I absolutely
Yeah.
love my car. And
I
and
remember
it
when
was
you
like
did that
something I never
challenge, I was
imagined.
like,
Yeah.
you were my first person
Yeah.
that manifested a brand new car like that. I was like, that's amazing. I think we had
Yeah.
somebody manifested a plane ticket to Australia and a home and stuff, but the car, I was just like, that's so cool. So
Yeah, there's like, I'm absolutely terrible about like reporting all the miracles that happen. Like, one of the things you really could do well is put it on Facebook, put what you're doing, because it manifests and inspires other people. And then it helps you like really get clear. But that's just something I wasn't good at. But I mean, I can't tell you how many things I've manifested, brought to life, changed. I've
oh,
changed
I
my,
have lists and lists and lists, and you're in it
oh,
because every time you would post in Facebook, we would always grab all of those. So we have
yeah,
like because we're using that as part of our the book that we're doing and the series. So most likely you'll have somebody knocking on your door to get you to interview you, and we'll have the
oh,
list of everything that you wrote down. And so it's going to be pretty cool for you to see when you go, oh yeah,
yeah.
that's right.
It's so exciting. Well, I can't like champion this enough. I just want to say too that in the end, it really doesn't become about the things and the stuff. So if you heard that from me, like please bypass that, because honestly, like the who I've become and the who I
Yeah.
am and the understanding about who we are as our divine soul and who we are as divinity is so much more unbelievable. And that's where the goods are. That's where the real magic
Yeah.
is. And just being able to understand who
You
you are
changed
and
as
who
an
your heart
entire person.
energy.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
everything about you changed, like the way you show up in the world, the way that your body healed, the
Yeah.
your confidence, the job, the work that you're doing, everything. Yeah,
Yes, I have. I have really, really changed.
yeah.
And I'm happy to talk to anybody. You can Facebook message me, whatever, if I can be of any, service to you or support to you through this.
Awesome. Well, she's in our Quantum Miracles group, and so everybody's going to be going in there to share what they're noticing and what's happening when we do these experiments. So I hope you all gather. Part of this is about community. The more that we share, the more community you build, the greater this becomes for everyone.
Definitely.
So thank you so
Definitely.
much.
Sure, sure, sure.
Okay, so we are going to, and we'll have some more people come on other days and share. We have a couple of Michelle's and some people that want to share. So what Miracles Challenge Day 1, your experiment is, I'm going to explain it to you. In your email, you will get the document that's here that writes it out step by step for you. Actually, I think I might even be able to put it into the chat for everyone. I think I can add files. I can. Great. So I'll add the file here and you can download it right to your computer. So this is what you're going to do. So the intention behind this Day 1 experiment is about your brain beliefs. So your intention, the intention, and we go deep into what intention means in our 6-week experiment because it's so important to have real clarity around intention. So the intention is that what shows up in our life is a direct reflection of our inner thoughts and emotions. You've trained your brain for years to think and behave a certain way, and that impacts what you create and see in the world. You impact the field and see it according to your brain and your beliefs. So you ask yourself, do I really decide to see what I intend to see? The brain processes 400 billion bits of information a second, but we are only aware of 2,000 of those. So what are you missing? So here's the rules for the experiment. You will dedicate the next 24 hours to seeing exactly what you want. So what does that mean? That means you're going to choose something easy. Unless you are somebody that's been doing this for a while, you might want to try something hard. But I say start with something easy like orange cars or butterflies or daffodils, right? Something a literal physical object so that you can build your confidence and look for it. So I want you to write down today's date and time, wherever you are in the world, write down the date and time. The deadline is 24 hours from now. And then I want you to choose, and you can share in our group chat so I can see what some of the things people are picking. I'm going to choose unicorns. I'm going to see how many unicorns I see in the next 24 hours. I think that'll be fun. I love unicorns. So I'm going to choose unicorns. I choose to see unicorns. And then what I'm going to do is for the next 24 hours, I'm going to look for unicorns wherever I'm at. And even if you don't leave your house, I've had people that have done this during COVID when they never even left their house, and somebody picked like purple flowers and found hundreds of purple flowers in their house that they didn't even know were there. Right? It was like crazy. Like one was on the end of a pin, and on books and all sorts of crazy stuff, because that's when you train your brain to see what you want to see, it shows up. So let's see what we've got coming on here. Blue glass bottles. Okay, I love it. What else? So I've got unicorns going on. And then what you're going to do is you're going to post in the group. And so we're going to be having contests and challenges every day. I want you to introduce yourself in the group and say, hi, my name is, and maybe something you want to learn and what you want to see or what you're going to look for the next 24 hours. And then come back, and on that post, you're going to post your number. Thank you all again so very much for showing up for yourself today. And I will see you tomorrow. Bye.